What's goody? Hey man, so we need to talk about one team and one team only, and that is the Oklahoma City Thunder because y'all know that I am a guy that up until sometime after the All-Star break last year was extremely skeptical of this Thunder team. I didn't think they had enough shooting. I thought they were too young. I just didn't think they were quite ready to win a championship just yet. I was ready to say they were contenders and I was agreeing that Shea was an MVP and all of that stuff, or at least an MVP caliber player and all of that stuff, but I just wasn't quite ready to be like they're the championship favorite right now because I just thought they were too young. I didn't think they had enough shooting, and I thought that defense in the playoffs might waver just a little bit, especially if fouls start to get called just a little more tightly come those fourth quarter moments and things like that. And they proved me wrong. They went out there, they did very well in the playoffs. They handled the Memphis Grizzlies, and then they beat a very good Denver Nuggets team led by Nikola Jokic in 7 games in the second round, which was impressive, especially given how young and untested they were relative to the Nuggets in the playoffs. And they go out there, they handled the Timberwolves, and they beat the Pacers in 7. To win the championship. And coming back into this year, y'all know I was a guy that was obviously everybody knew they were going to be the 1 seed. Everybody was predicting they would be the 1 seed again. But I thought it would be Nikola Jokic and the Denver Nuggets who would be right there with him, and I thought Nikola Jokic would win the MVP, and I thought that I picked Denver to win the championship this year. And I'm telling you right now, with I think we're 13 games into the season, at least for Oklahoma City, we're 13 games into the season, and Denver is still a threat, don't get me wrong. In a 7 game series by the end of the season, I still think there's a very good chance I would pick Denver because I do expect that Cam Johnson will be able to remember how to shoot the basketball again sometime soon. But right now, it's clearing away OKC is the favorite to win the championship, man. This is not only the best team in the NBA right now, but I saw somebody make the point that this is the second best team they've ever seen, obviously only behind the Golden State 2017 Golden State Warriors. And I thought about it, and it really didn't take me too long to say, yeah, this team is better than those Miami Heat teams that I saw. This team is better than any other team, any other championship team, any other super team that I've ever seen been formed with my own 2 eyes. As long as I've been watching basketball, as somebody that wasn't old enough to watch the Shaq and Kobe Lakers or anything like that, my earliest memories of really good teams is watching Kobe win the finals, and then immediately after that, the next really good teams were the Heat and the Thunder. And the Spurs, obviously, were always really good. But this team is probably the second best team I've ever seen in my entire life. If last night, this team played a very, very good Los Angeles Lakers team that before last night was 8-3. Luka Doncic was averaging 40 points heading into the night. He's one of the MVP favorites right now. He's been doing phenomenal things. They're 8-3. LeBron James hasn't played a game yet, and they were playing great basketball. For reference, let me just explain to you this Lakers team. I wish I had the numbers from before last night, but since I don't, I'm just gonna skip past that because I don't want to take too much time looking up the numbers. But last night they scored 92 points, and they lost by 30. They scored 92 points against Oklahoma City, and they lost 121-92. Luka Doncic put up 20 shots, went 7 of 21 for 7 from 3. The man put up 19 points. He was their leading scorer. Dalton Connect put up 16 points on 6 of 7. Was their next leading scorer. Was the second best player tonight. Was actually their best player last night. What this Oklahoma City defense does, mind you, on the other side, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander had 30 points, 10 of 18 shooting, 9 assists, 5 rebounds. Jalen Williams has not played a game yet, and this team is 12-1. They dog walked the Los Angeles Lakers last night. They opened the season with a 1-point win over Houston. They beat the Pacers, who was not an impressive win. They beat the Hawks, who's not an impressive win. They beat the Mavericks, who's not an impressive win. They beat the Sacramento Kings, who's not an impressive win. They beat the Washington Wizards, who's not an impressive win. They beat the New Orleans Pelicans, who's not an impressive win. They beat the Los Angeles Clippers. They lost to Portland on night 2 of a back-to-back. They beat the Sacramento Kings. They beat the Memphis Grizzlies. They dog walked the Golden State Warriors, and they dog walked the Los Angeles Lakers. Now, you're looking at that schedule, and you're saying, sure, they're very good. They're 12-1, but they haven't played super tough teams. Their toughest teams so far have been their last 2 games and their first game of the season, right? And I completely agree with you. Jalen Williams has not played a game yet, and they're 12-1. With wins over Houston, a perennial playoff team, LA, who was 8-3, Golden State, who just beat the hell out of the San Antonio Spurs last night, and Steph Curry dropped 42. They held Luka Doncic to 19 points last night, and then the game before that, they held Stephen Curry. Granted, he's coming off of an illness. I don't care. They held him to 4. Now, they held him to 4 of 13 shooting for 11 points. And now, granted, he only played 20 minutes, but in those 20 minutes, he was a minus 23 on the floor. They are dog walking teams. The highest scorer for the Warriors was 13 points. The Lakers didn't have a guy get to 20. Do you understand how phenomenal of a defense this is? You don't, and I'll explain to you just how good of, not just a defense, but how good of a team this is. This team is top 6, and this team is top 5 in scoring offense per game. 122.5 points per game they put up. When we go look at the defense, dog, is where things start to really get insane. But if you want to go to offensive rating, they're 6, 118.5 offensive rating, half a point behind the Philadelphia 76ers for 5th place. Defensive rating, they are number 1 in the league by over 4 points. Their net rating is number 1 in the league by 1.5 points. If we go and we look at their stats as individuals, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is averaging 32.5 points, 6.5 assists, 5 rebounds a game, average on 52, 35, 90 splits from the field. The man is doing phenomenal things. Cason Wallace is having a phenomenal season. AJ Mitchell is maybe the rookie, is the 6th man of the year right now. Came out of nowhere and is now averaging 17, 4, and 4 on 46, 35, 92 splits last night. Let me look and see what he had, because he was frying them boys. He was frying Golden State, but then he was frying the Lakers too. Let me see. Because I was watching the first half, and let me tell you, dog, they were up 40 in the first half. They scored 70 in the first half. The Lakers scored 38. AJ Mitchell, who has been starting a lot of these games because J-Dub is hurt, which is right. Like, you might not be able to say he's 6th man of the year, but he only scored 14 points last night, and that was a bad night. The dude is averaging 17 coming out of nowhere. You want to go look at their stats, and these are the stats that I said I would show you. Well, let me explain to you just how good of a defense this is, because me telling you it's a good defense, me explaining to you how they absolutely held Steph Curry and Luka Doncic, 2 of the top 3 guards in the NBA right now, to stinkers of back-to-back nights, to under 20 points in back-to-back games, isn't explaining enough to you. This team is 4th in turnovers per game, 17.1. That is the worst defensive stat I'm about to show you, is them being 4th in turnovers forced per game. When we go to opponent points in the paint per game, and if you watch this team, something I noticed not just against the Lakers, but every time I watch this team, is one thing they are going to do is they are so good. There's 2 things that they excel at defensively. Pressuring your perimeter guys to the point where there's a lot of possessions where the ball doesn't even get past the 3-point line, doesn't even get inside the 3-point line until there's under 10 seconds left on the shot clock. That's how good their perimeter defenders are. And then they are so good at not only not letting you score in the paint, they won't even let you get 2 feet in the paint. And once you do, you for damn sure ain't scoring in there. Points in the paint per game, they allow 36.8. The next closest is San Antonio at 40.7. San Antonio has an alien, has the best defensive player in basketball on their team, and they allow 4 more points in the paint than the Oklahoma City Thunder. Oklahoma City, opponent shooting percentage, 41.9%, lowest in the NBA. You want to go to opponent 2-point shooting percentage, which is where they excel. I told you, 46.1%, lowest in the NBA. Opponent average scoring margin, dog, they beat their opponents by an average of 15.5 points. To put this to you, if they lost their games by an average of 15.5 points, they would be the 2nd worst team in basketball, only above the Washington Wizards. They win their games by 15.5 points. The next closest team is Denver at 13.5 and Houston at 11. After that, it drops off to San Antonio at 6.8. This team is absolutely disgusting. Every single statistic that you are going to look at is going to tell you that this is not only the best defense in the league right now by a wide margin. You can look at a statistic that'll tell you that this is not, relative to its peers, this is the best defense of all time. I'm watching this defense, and I'm genuinely looking at it, and I'm saying these are some of the best ball handlers, some of the best perimeter scorers, some of the best creators in the league, and Steph Curry and Luka Doncic, and they couldn't get a damn thing going. The only way you can even challenge this team is if you're a team like the Rockets or you're a team like the Nuggets, where you have a paint presence that is unstoppable. Because if you don't have that, if you rely on perimeter scoring, you are not beating this team, because you rely on that and they're going to shut you down, and then you can't get to the paint because you don't have a perimeter paint player. You might be able to get to the line, but even that, you're not going to be able to get there to like a crazy rate. They're bottom half of the league there, but they're not like ass. For as great as they are of a defense, they aren't going to foul you as much as you would think. Some of that's referee, but whatever. This team is disgusting. And J-Dub has not played a game. They are the best defense in the NBA history, with J-Dub, who was an all-defensive and all-NBA guy last year, not having played a single game. They're not better than the Warriors team. I was talking to my barber about this. He was saying, do you think they're approaching it? No, I don't. We were watching that Warriors team, and it was an undisputed, no questions asked, known fact who was winning the championship before they even played a game together on the court. So no, I don't think they're approaching that. That offense was so good with the Warriors that I don't think there's not a single team in NBA history that I'm taking in a 7-game series over that Warriors team. They had 2 of the top 3 MVP candidates in the league at the same time on the same team with a #1 DPOY guy, the best two-way player in the league, and one of the best coaches in the league, and some of the most depth and the best 6-man in the league. No, they aren't that team, but they're the second best thing I've seen. They're the second greatest thing to it. They're the second closest thing to it. Or they're the closest thing to it, I guess. And that's absolutely insane. Because just this time last year, I was somebody that was skeptical if they could even win a championship. And now I'm sitting here ready to say, by the end of this year, I think everyone will agree with me that they are the second best team they've ever seen in their lives, unless you were alive to see maybe the 96 Bulls, which I wasn't alive to see. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Thank you for watching as always. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. I was going to wait to leave this video for tomorrow, but dude, I couldn't. But they don't play tonight. They just played last night. 2 videos a day for y'all because y'all got my NFL picks and predictions coming out later today. Keep God first as always. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. I saw the success that y'all gave me on that Nico Harrison video. First of all glory to God as always. But second of all, thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for those of y'all that shared, for those of y'all that commented, for those of y'all that liked, for those of y'all that just viewed. Thank you. I appreciate it. Hopefully we stick around. Hopefully I did enough to be able to get you to stick around. And if not, tell me what I can do better because I want to improve this channel. I want to be able to entertain y'all. All right. Peace out, man.